guys, for those of you who are new here, my name is Rabia and I am an immigration lawyer in Toronto. I also run this YouTube channel where I talk a lot about the NCA process, the lawyer licensing journey for foreign trained lawyers, and I'll just share some of the things that I've learned in the past couple of years, hoping that this can help somebody out there. So today I'd like to talk about an important issue, and I've heard this issue from a lot of different students. And the issue is about NCA notes and NCA tutors. So I'm going to discuss a bit about the background related to tutors and notes. Next, I will talk about where you can look for the notes or where you can find a good tutor. And the last and the most important part is where I'll talk about some tips and tricks that you can use in order to ensure that the notes or the tutor that you work with, they're both really good for you, and it will, you get what you pay for. So if you're interested in knowing about this, keep watching. First of all, I'd like to give you a little bit of background so that you can understand what I'll be talking about a little bit later. So I think it's important that you understand completely what I'm telling you right now. So in Canada, if you want to teach at a school or at a college, you need to go to teaching school in order to become a teacher. So you need to have a proper license or certification in order to become a teacher. What does that mean? That means that anyone who thinks that they know a subject or anyone who thinks that they can be a good teacher can't really get up one day and start teaching at a school. Okay. Similarly, if you want to become a lawyer, you have to go through this life-changing process of the lawyer licensing process in order to become a lawyer and then represent clients in a particular province. So again, nobody can wake up one day and decide that they will represent clients just because they're good at negotiation. So this is a certified profession. Same with doctors, nurses, accountants. So all of these professions have been regulated by different bodies to ensure that whoever is offering these services has that background and has that training that is needed for that particular profession. Okay. Now, you're probably thinking, why am I telling you all this? The reason I'm telling you this is that the NCA tutors, notes is not regulated per se. So anyone who has completed the NCA exams or anyone who is a lawyer or, anyone who thinks that they're good at the subject matter can start tutoring or can start selling notes. So they're not really getting a certification per se. They're only using their experience or their knowledge or if they think they're good at it to become a tutor or sell these notes. So when you're buying these notes, you have to be very, very careful because, like I said, this is not a regulated profession. So you as a buyer have to do your due diligence in order to ensure that you're buying something that's going to be worth it and you are able to trust the person you're buying these notes from. So this is why I told you this entire story of how the professions have been regulated and the NCA space has not been regulated. So anytime you see a tutor or somebody selling notes, you have to ensure that they're not licensed by NCA per se, even if their website or the way that they represent themselves looks like they're they're part of the NCA. That's not true. NCA does not regulate any tutors, any notes, none of that. So just be very, very careful when you're buying the notes because you want to make sure that you're spending your money on something that is useful for you. Now that being said, obviously there are many people who are offering these notes and services. They have been doing this for so many years. They've had good experiences. So there are good tutors out there, but I still think that you should educate yourself, just because you have to be the person who has to do their due diligence. So now that's probably clear. I would like to move on to the next question, which is, where can I find these NCA notes? Now, I'm not going to be telling you a specific tutor, or I'm not going to be endorsing any notes because I haven't used any. So I can't really speak for how good they are or how bad they are, but I can definitely guide you and tell you where you can look for these notes, and where you're able to find these resources. So first of all, you can just Google, like you Google pretty much everything. You can just Google NCA notes, NCA answers, NCA questions, and see what comes up. You will probably see a whole bunch of different tutors out there. Again, just remember, no tutor is licensed by the NCA or anyone else to be an NCA tutor. So you'll see a whole bunch of different links. You can click on them and see if you like something, or if you're interested in something. And you can buy the notes like that just by searching from Google. I think that I've mentioned this in my previous videos as well, that I wouldn't recommend that you buy any notes, NCA notes, off Kijiji.com. I don't know if you know what that is. Kijiji.com is a website in Canada where you can sell pretty much anything. So a lot of people use it to sell furniture, or sometimes for renting purposes, or anything, clothes, any used lamps or chairs. People use that website to sell a lot of stuff. Sometimes people also sell their old NCA notes. The problem with the website is that you can't really see the seller, so you just only have his username. You can't see their picture, you don't know who they are, and the username can be different to what their real name is. So I actually ended up buying something from Kijiji, and the notes were not according to the syllabus, and I wasted my money at that time. And as a student, you don't really have a lot of money, so just be aware that when you are looking for different websites, make sure that you kind of do your due diligence as well, and don't buy something off buying and selling websites where you can't really see the seller. The second place that I can recommend in terms of buying the notes is Facebook. There are a lot of Facebook NCA groups. You can join them. The admins are very friendly. They usually let people in. A lot of the old students also sell used books. So if you're looking for cheaper books, you can buy them off of those Facebook groups. There are a whole bunch of them. So I would just recommend that search NCA Canada or NCA exams, and you will see a whole bunch of groups that you can join. So there are a lot of tutors there who sell their notes, and then they make announcements. So you can check those ones out and see if you like something. And you can also chat with different colleagues who've done the exams, who are in the process. You can make study groups. So it's a good way to interact with people who are in a similar situation as you are. Third place that I'd recommend in terms of buying resources is emond.ca. It's a publishing website in Canada. They publish books. So you can find a lot of the NCA books on Emond's website. I don't know if you're interested in buying books, but they don't sell notes per se, but you can buy all of the required text from Emond. If you are not in Canada and you're worried that the shipping cost is going to be a lot, I've had a lot of people ask me this question. Emond also has a digital version of the books, so you can they're a little bit cheaper. So you can just probably buy the digital books and use it. I bought a digital book for Foundations of Canadian Law. I think that the book was good. Again, if you are in another country and you don't have a choice, you can purchase digital books. They certainly give you the text that you need to read. But from my experience, the digital book, I didn't feel like the software was too friendly. I mean, I was able to read everything, and just read the text and whatever I needed, but they only give you access to the book for a certain period of time. And that was a little bit that's something that you also have to keep in mind. You can't keep it forever if you're buying the digital version. And I also remember, like I said, I found that the software is not too friendly. I don't know if you've purchased it. Let me, like, maybe they've changed it now. I don't know. But the book is the same. So you'll get the text. But just my experience, I just found the software not to be too user friendly. On to the most important part, which is how do you know if you can trust a tutor? And how do you know if you can trust somebody who's selling these notes? Now, I'm only going to be giving you some tips. At the end of the day, you need to decide if you can trust somebody or not. But from my experience, I can definitely give you really good tips that will help you decide if you want to spend your money on a specific tutor or not. Now, first of all, I want to talk about something that I've seen a lot, and I don't think that that is the best thing to do. A lot of times, people trust people from their own countries. So sometimes I feel like, people from a specific country are looking for a tutor of that specific country. There's nothing wrong with that. If you think that that's how you're able to establish trust, certainly do so. But I also think that I don't think that should be your only criteria when you're trying to judge, not judge, but when you're trying to purchase notes or look for a tutor. Sometimes you have to be a little bit more open-minded in terms of, making sure what qualifications and credentials the tutor has, how many years have they been tutoring, or are they a lawyer? So there are a lot of other things that you also need to consider, as opposed to just finding somebody who's from the same country as you are. I've seen a lot of people do it. Again, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Certainly, if you think that you're able to establish that bond or that trust level with somebody who comes from the same country as you can totally do that. But all I'm trying to say is that shouldn't be the only factor when you decide who you want to buy these notes of. So just keep that in mind. The next thing that I'd recommend is that if a tutor or somebody you're purchasing notes of tells you that, I can guarantee you 100% that once you read these notes, you'll pass. Or as soon as if you take my classes, I can guarantee you that you'll pass. I wouldn't trust that person, because there is no way that you can guarantee 100% result on something. Even as an immigration lawyer, I can never tell my client that, I can guarantee you 110% that your application is going to be accepted. It's just not possible to give that type of guarantee, because, you don't have the evidence. You can't, if somebody's saying that to you, you want to just ask them for numbers and see how they're coming to this conclusion that you're gonna pass if they read your notes. I'm not saying that a tutor can't say that, my notes are really thorough, they're very good, I've summarized all of the things on the syllabus, and they can talk about what the notes have, but they can't tell you 100% that you're going to pass using these notes. So I wouldn't trust the person who does that. I went to school in different countries. Even professors and experts don't do that. So if somebody's telling you that, there is a problem, and I think that you should actually ask them for evidence and just ask them, like, how are you coming to these conclusions? Can I see the numbers? Can I see how many students you have tutored, and how many have passed? So just keep that in mind. Don't believe what everyone tells you. Just do your own due diligence. The third thing that I'd like you to understand is that no one can actually predict what's going to be on the exam. While people can help you predict that you might get a question based off previous patterns, but nobody can tell you for sure that you will get a question on this, you will get a question on that, and then that's all you need to study. Just because it's just not possible. How on earth can somebody predict what's going to come on the exam, unless and until you're the director of the NCA, and I doubt that the director is tutoring. So I don't think that anyone can really tell you what's going to be on the exam. The tutors or people who sell notes can just give you a sample or guide you, or be like these topics are a little bit more important because they've been tested in the past. Students find these topics to be a little bit tricky, and then from their experiences or whatever's happening around the world, they think that this topic might be more important than the other. But if somebody's telling you, hey, you'll get 4 questions on this topic, just do this, don't worry about anything else and you'll pass, I don't think that that's the right way to I just don't think it's the right way, and I don't think you should fall for it. Because just remember that the NCA exams are just one part of this entire big journey of becoming a lawyer. You have to take these exams not like, oh, I just need to pass, and pass. You need to take these exams seriously to build the skills that you really need to succeed as a lawyer. And nobody will ever come up to you when you're practicing, or nobody is going to tell you exactly what's going to be on trial, or what's going to be the decision. So don't fall for it. Put in the work, put in the effort, read the text, read the books. Don't trust anyone who tells you that this is what's going to be on the exam. You know, the lawyer licensing process is made like this for a reason, and if you try to skip steps and you think that you're smarter than the process, trust me, in the end you will know that you're probably going to regret it. So take this seriously and don't believe anyone who tells you otherwise. The other thing that I'd like to talk about is that when I was an NCA student, I think that you kind of trust lawyers who have completed this process and are then licensed to practice as a lawyer. So you feel like they've completed the lawyer licensing process and now they're practicing, and you can kind of trust them more just because, again, they're licensed. So if you want to make sure that the NCA tutor who you are working with, or whoever's selling notes to you, you want to ensure they are licensed lawyers. There's a way to find out. If you're hesitant to ask them, first of all, I think that you should definitely ask them right away. If you're unsure or if you want to talk to them, you should be able to communicate that to the tutor. As much as you'd like to pass these exams, they also want to get more business. So it's not just you. This industry is both ways. So they want the business, you want to pass these exams. So it is okay if you ask them questions and be like, hey, can I have a quick call with you? I'd like to talk to you over the phone. I want to get to know you a little bit better. If they're offering you any sort of tutoring services. In terms of notes, if you want to see who has written these notes and you want to make sure that they are licensed to practice law, all of the lawyers can be searched on the Law Society's website. So in different provinces. So Law Society of Ontario will have all the lawyers who are licensed to practice in Ontario. Then Alberta, and then British Columbia. So you have to go to different provinces' law society's website, and then you can search the name of the person. And if the person doesn't come up, then they are not practicing. They're not lawyers. If you'd like, I can actually show you, and I'll share my screen. I will go onto the Law Society of Ontario's website, and then I can search my name. But you feel free to search anyone's name that you are unsure of and you think that they are not practicing lawyers. And just keep in mind, the name has to be the exact name. Like if somebody's using a nickname or something like that, it won't come up. So if you want to ensure that whoever is offering these services is a lawyer, there is a way to find out.
Society of Ontario's lawyer directory. So I think I already typed it here. So this is the one that you're searching for. Just keep in mind that this is only for Ontario. You won't see lawyers who are licensed in other provinces. So you have to go onto their province's website to look for them, but I'm only going to be going to Law Society of Ontario. So you click that and then you click here. So you can actually search lawyers as well as paralegals. Okay. Okay, so this is a simple search, and then you also have an advanced search. I didn't know that. Anyways, so if you scroll down, and then you can do just a simple search. You can look for a lawyer, and I'll just type in my name. Oh, 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 oh. Okay. That's my full name, and then you can just find. So you can see that you'll see my name here. You will see the license type, my location, my status, and you can find all of that information over here. Okay. Oh, so you can go back and search for anyone that you like, and you can make sure if they're a licensed lawyer or not. But remember, this is just Law Society of Ontario's website. You will have to go on to other provinces' website to ensure if you're looking for lawyers in a different province.
The last and the most final thing that I'd like to say is that anything that you read on Facebook groups, on the internet, anywhere, just take it with a grain of salt. Just trust your gut feeling, do your due diligence, talk to the person, research them online, and if you're able to trust them, go ahead. In no way am I saying that the tutors are not qualified. I'm just saying that there are just be aware of the fact that they're not certified. But certainly there are a lot of good tutors out there who've been working really hard to help NCA students integrate into the Canadian legal system, and they've done great work. When I was writing these exams, there were not a lot of them, but certainly I have heard good things about a lot of tutors, so definitely there's a lot of good people out there. But again, I just want to educate you so that you're able to make an informed decision as opposed to just getting fooled by the system. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I like to share stuff that will help you understand what's good for you and what's not good for you. At the end of the day, nobody can give you a sure shot answer. People can only guide you, and you have to figure out what's best for you at the end of the day.